We have a new Kunwu knife, and it comes with extra omega springs and a wire clip, which is pretty cool because on the knife is a milled titanium pocket clip. So, you know, if you like wire clips a little bit more because they are so smooth in and out of the pocket, there you go. This is the Kunwu DJANGO. And Kunwu's doing a really good job, man. We're going to talk more about that as we move on. This has a clip point blade, an LMAX steel. Now there is another knife from Kunwu that's very similar to this called the Pulsar. Now, personally, usually I like that blade shape more on that knife. I thought that one was coming too, but regardless, you know, this is still, you know, an amazing blade shape for a lot of things. It's just I prefer the other one a little bit more. But that being said, man, great geometry, beautiful clip point, beautiful swedge, perfect sharpening choil and plunge grind, exactly how you want it. Even if it's not going to be a finger choil, this is the way you want your plunge grind. Very, very comfortable. Like I said, the geometry super slicey on this LMAX blade. Then the titanium has this beautiful diamond pattern that I freaking dig. I love that diamond pattern. It looks so good. You got a titanium back spacer and a milled titanium pocket clip like we already said. You can see the Kunwu logo. And the buttons for the disengagement are probably the most comfortable I have felt on any crossbar lock. So you don't really see these too often on crossbar locks. They have started recently. Some models have come out with it. These are the best I've seen. Now, the Manix, which is not a crossbar lock, it's a ball lock, has similar, you know, finger studs, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, in order to get them in titanium, you have to get the aftermarket ones. These ones come with titanium. It has the stair-step effect. It almost feels like it indents in if you look how it ramps down and then back up. You actually feel that with your fingers, which makes it feel extremely, extremely comfortable. You know, the way how it ramps up, you know, as you pull down. Very, very comfortable disengagement, very easy to disengage. Now, it has, and also crossbar locks are incredibly strong. I will spine whack test it, but they are incredibly strong locking systems. The ergonomics on this is exactly where you'd want, or exactly how you'd want, whether you're choked up or choked back. Very, very comfortable. And when I'm choked back, the handle's like the perfect size for my hand, you know, and as I choke up, I obviously have a little bit more room. Being a clip point blade, you know, it's not going to be the best utility cutter. However, you can use the tip still. It's just your primary is going to be the belly, because, you know, especially if you're cutting down on a flat surface, you're going to use that belly, you know, quite a bit more. So, and in that case, when you're cutting down like on a flat surface, a belly is better. So it's just not going to excel with utility cuts. You're probably going to want to use the belly, which is fine. You could do that with utility cuts to some extent. With the majority of cuts, you do, you know, with like a utility cut. However, you wind up burning up more edge than you would if it was just the tip. So if it was just the tip, you know, you're not going to take up much, you know, sharpening, or sorry, much edge. You're just going to use that little bit. But when you're using the belly, you use a wider area. So that's just one thing. You know, there's a lot of other, you know, reasons why a low tip is good. But all in all, you know, for a clip point blade, it's done very, very well. It's going to pass through materials really, really well, especially with these ergonomics. Now the action, it has a fuller and a hole deployment. Now, admittedly, I had to get used to this one a little bit because my finger kept hitting the button. Now, I have grown used to it to where I can lightly push it or just go around it, but it was something that right away I failed the knife like a bunch of times. So it was something I had to get used to. Now I've pretty much got it down pat. The detent is on the lighter side, but that's common for crossbar locks. So it's not really a negative, it's just the nature of the beast with crossbar locks. However, a lot of companies have figured out a way to tune the crossbar lock stronger or with a good solid detent. So yes, I would prefer it to be a stronger detent. However, I do have it down pat now, and it's very, very fidgety. When I use the fuller, that's when I'm most susceptible to hitting that button. But you can see I can still rapidly deploy. It's just sometimes I kind of block it from moving or whatever. So it slows down the action, basically. That's what it does. Now you also can just pull them down and deploy it like that, which works really, really well because it kind of kicks the blade out when you pull down. So just with a little tiny wrist flick, it will flip right out there. But the action, I'll say the action's good. You know, with a stronger detent, it could be better, but you know, and I do think that with the way I'm touching that, I think that might even be better too with a little bit of a stronger detent. I'm not sure about that. But like I said, you get used to things, you know, and I've gotten used to it, and now it's pretty easy for me to avoid it. And it didn't take long at all, you know, a few flips. Now, I do have the Kunwu Padre here. Now, I freaking love the Padre. It is absolutely badass. Now, I don't think these are available right now, at least not through my affiliates, maybe on their site, I'm not sure. I will link what I can through my affiliates down in the description for you guys, including the Pulsar, which has the different blade shape than this, but very, very similar. Because I do think, you know, you're either in one camp or the other. Maybe you're in both, you know, because I'll tell you what, man, Kunwu is a good knife to collect models through. I have a few other models, and all of them I love. You know, some I love more than others, obviously, just like anybody, but they do such a good job. And another thing I want to applaud them for is their ability, or not ability, their wanting to please the community with the heat treatments and HRCs and stuff like that. They seem like they care about that a lot when other companies seem like they are overlooking it. So I have to applaud that. I think that's awesome. I'm very, very happy that they are doing that. Now, you know, all in all, as far as nitpicks and stuff goes, you know, I already said, you know, the detent could be stronger. I would like, it'd be awesome if they just put other notches in there, kind of like the clutch lock. So it would be nice if they put in extra holes so that you can increase the detent strength yourself with the Omega springs. Now, maybe putting in thicker Omega springs might help. I don't think the ones that come in the box are thicker, but, you know, you could probably get thicker ones yourself and increase it if you wanted to. You know, not that it's a big deal or anything, but you know, if it's something that you wanted to do, because you can get Omega springs for like $6 on Etsy. So I even can link them through my Amazon account, or my Amazon link. So I'll put them down in the description if you want to check out any Omega springs. Now, as far as other nitpicks goes, you know, like I said, I'm not the hugest fan of trailing clip point blades. I like straight clip point blades just because the utilitarianness, you know, of them. They're not that utilitarian, but, you know, I do like me a good clip point, you know, every now and then. I think that this would be a great self-defense knife and a great EDC knife, you know, as far as, you know, a folding knife goes. The lockup, rock solid, no play, any direction. Very happy to see that. You know, the clip, works well. It works decent. It is a little bit rough because it's over texture and it is a little tight, but you have the wire clip and it's not bad. It actually works just fine. So I'm not calling that a negative at all. The other negative, like I said, I hit the button with my finger sometimes, but you get used to it so quickly that it's not really a negative. It's, you know, more of just a little nitpick that you get over pretty quickly. There is a lot of milling on the inside to bring down the weight, and it is, to me, it feels very light. It feels much lighter than the Padre. And the Padre does have milling as well, but, you know, maybe that's just me. But to me, it feels light. Now, you know, there's really not too many nitpicks. You know, they're pretty basic, you know, like I said, just them couple little ones, you know, the detent strength and, you know, me hitting the button. Other than that, you know, they really know how to do knives, man. They are doing a killer job, and you know, I'm always excited to see what they have next because of, you know, just their attention to detail, their uniqueness. You can kind of tell a Kunwu now. They do have their own little style, which is also really cool. You know, if you showed me a new knife, I could probably tell you that it was a Kunwu without knowing, which is a good thing. That is a great thing to have, you know, your own little flair or your own little flavor. But yeah, what a cool knife, man. I'm very happy with it. I think it's badass. You know, like I said, the Pulsar would be more my style with the sheep's, or with, you know, the sheep's foot style blade or that style blade shape. It's kind of like a modified sheep's foot, modified spear pointish blade. But anyways, yeah, the Pulsar would definitely be a little bit more up my alley with the blade shape, but that doesn't stop this one from being absolutely badass. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.